We have new numbers, a new report from the U.S. House Committee on Homeland Security majority. They say the price tag per year is $451 billion. That is both for the housing and care of the asylum seekers as well as those known gotaways.
Hello, how are you all? Thank you for watching. You heard that correctly. $451 billion of your tax money is being spent per year. Not the issue in its entirety, per year on people that are coming across our border illegally. How does that make you feel? This would be a huge problem, don't you think? Don't you think our own officials would be like, whoa, pump the brakes? Actually, no. That's exactly the plan. That's been the plan the whole time. Look no further than Secretary Mayorkas, who the whole time has been saying everything is working great. Everything is working according to plan, because the plan is to get as many people in here as possible to eventually give them amnesty, and then they get to do what? They get to do what? They get to vote. Listen to Mayorkas himself.
Also doesn't address the other sort of elephant in the room, which is dealing with the undocumented immigrants who are already here in the nation. And I know it's been a political football as they're trying to figure out the best way to address that. But I'm going to ask you, what is the best way to address that from your perspective?
The answer is quite clear and quite straightforward, and we've been waiting for it for about 30 years. And that is to fix a system that everyone agrees is fundamentally broken, and we need congressional action, both for the lawful pathways that really need to be more robust in statute, and for the 12 million.
You know, I was watching a congressional hearing a while back. Actually, no, I think it was about a month ago. It was fairly recent. And Secretary Mayorkas was there answering questions. And I listened to two Democratic senators who, by the way, are on his side and basically vouch for him and what he's doing. Two Democratic senators. For some reason in this meeting, I'm not sure exactly why they brought it up, but they did bring it up. They brought up the fact that American citizens are struggling to afford childcare. Childcare is very expensive. In fact, I just saw a video of a woman saying that it costs $2,200 a month for childcare. That is out of control, and given our current climate, that's a lot of money for people. Anywho, what these senators were saying was right. A lot of people are struggling, and it's an absolute shame that people have to struggle to pay for childcare. But you want to know who's getting free childcare? The people that are breaking into our country, they're getting free childcare. In Chicago, they get free childcare. In New York, they get free childcare. So they're getting it free. And what that tells me is that we actually do have the funds to really help people during these times. But those funds aren't going to birthright citizens. They're going to people that just broke into our country. And how is life for them? Is this humane to just have millions of people flooding our border every single year with nowhere to go, with no jobs, with nothing, and they're being stuffed in every corner of the United States? How is this going for them? Well, you have migrants in Chicago who are saying the conditions were actually better in Venezuela and they want to go home. You have New Yorkers who are getting dubbed for free food that they've been getting once a week from a food pantry that gives them out free hot meals, and even got dubbed out of some turkeys. Here's that situation.
We have to take the butt of everything, okay? This community here is already suffering.
The residents living in NYC's Queensbridge houses look forward to the mobile food pantries that show up weekly. But over the past year, they have witnessed 8,000 migrants move into their neighborhood, and they have also noticed the migrants are also starting to take their stuff.
They was first online for the turkeys this morning. If they tell you to be there at 11 o'clock, you get there like 10:30, 10:45, but they already out there. The line is from over there to over here.
Now, let's get back to the migrants. I'm sorry, I switched gears on you a little bit. So this story was in the New York Post today. So migrants flood East Village block for a shot to get back in NYC's shelters. A humanitarian crisis, it's being called. Hundreds of migrants trying to get back into the Big Apple's overwhelmed shelter system have been flooding an East Village block as Mayor Eric Adams warned the crisis would soon be more visible than ever. The scores of Asylum seekers lining the sidewalk on East 7th Street near Tompkins Square Park are among the thousands forced to reapply for temporary housing after being booted under the administration's 30-day camp on shelter stays. Some told the Post they have been waiting for multiple days for a shot at another monthly stay in the city with no luck. This is third world, an East villager said. I've seen lines outside this place many times, but this is much more than a line. It's a humanitarian crisis. These people are freezing, they're starving, and there's desperation on their faces. It's quite frankly unbearable. I almost can't look. I have to look to remind myself that we can't just keep ignoring what's going on right in front of us. City Hall has limited stays for single migrants for 30 days. And they have to leave the shelter system after 30 days and reapply. For family units, it's 60 days. And the reason for this is because they're continuing to get thousands of people every week, and there just simply isn't any more room. But with new arrivals being prioritized for housing and thousands more arriving each week, those whose time expires are forced back to the line and can now reapply at the former St. Bridget School. So they used to be able to apply at every migrant shelter. Now they're only able to apply at this one shelter, which is probably causing a lot of this congestion. Let's see. City officials dodged questions Tuesday about why it consolidated its operations for migrants looking to reapply for shelter to a Lower East Side site where hundreds would have to wait outside for hours before being seen. I appreciate your question, but I think what we need to focus on is the bigger question, and that is, why are we still dealing with this? Which is true. Just ask Secretary Mayorkas. It's all a part of the plan. We are doing the best we can. I believe them for the most part at this point, although you could call for the border to get closed. But to Eric Adams' credit, I think he did recently. In this article, you have several men they interviewed from West Africa who are in these lines, and they said they have been in the line for about 6 days with the only thing they've had to eat are crackers, tuna, and water. They haven't showered in 6 days. They have a cot at a place, I believe, in the Bronx or Queens, that does have bedding, but they do not have any shower facilities. Another one said it's a miserable situation, and obviously they're very cold and hungry. So I ask you, is this humane? Is it humane to have millions of people that we cannot care for coming over the border in a single year? Not to mention what's happening in San Diego, America's finest city. You now have migrants, hundreds of them, that are now sleeping in the San Diego airport. You have small towns like Oceanside, California, a beautiful, pristine little beach community in San Diego County, who is getting 500 people dropped off a day. Some of these people, they don't have any phones, they have nowhere to go, they don't know what to do. So they're just being dropped off there, and the town is having to take care of them and deal with it. Also, we do know that I would say most of them, maybe about 85%, maybe 90%, not sure. Most of them are military-aged men with no job prospects. Where are they going to go? What are they going to do? Martha's Vineyard just had somebody arrested. Now, Martha's Vineyard is an island. You either have to take a ferry or a small plane to get there. So how did this person get there? Where was this person living? There's no real housing there. It's all a very big, expensive property. Usually their service industry workers will live in sort of accommodations that are afforded to them, and they go there and work there for a few months, live in these accommodations, save money, and then they go back to wherever it is that they live full time. So this is an absolute disaster, and this thing will be on everybody's doorstep. It is just a matter of time. Last week in the Tucson, Arizona sector alone, they saw 15,000 people come through. That is the most people ever in recorded history in Tucson, Arizona. Yesterday alone, 2,800 people in Tucson, Arizona. This is the most unstable, the most chaotic thing, but according to our elected officials, this is working exactly as planned. So your tax dollars will be taken, your votes will be replaced, your nice areas will no longer be nice, but guess what? It's all according to plan. Anyway, thank you for watching and have a lovely day.